Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Hillbilly Adventures. Today, as you can see, I'm in front of one of my cameras. We're going to talk about camera setup. So sit back and enjoy, and I hope you learn something. Okay, y'all, let's talk about cameras. So as you can see, I'm here in front of one of my cellular cameras. This is the Stealth Cam. I know everybody has their own, opinion on what cameras to use and whatnot. I particularly like the Stealth Cam. I've never had any problems with them. They've worked great for me, sending the pictures and everything. I highly recommend Stealth cameras. I really do. There are other great cameras out there. I'm not bashing any other cameras, but I do highly recommend the Stealth cameras. That being said, let's talk about setup. So as you can see here, I have my cellular camera. I have my solar power. And I want to highly recommend the solar power. Now, even though you're using solar power, you still need to keep batteries in your camera. Reason for that is sometimes, especially like down here in the south, there's a lot of brush, a lot of cover and stuff like that. And the solar power, it doesn't get as much sunlight as it needs to get. So I recommend to you to keep the camera also filled with your AA or your C or whatever your camera takes. So when this runs out, the camera is still going, and it'll give you enough time, a day or two, to charge another one up, get it out here, and switch the solar panels out. Now, I know a lot of people, I see a lot of people setting their cameras up way up high, and that's okay. That's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. However, in my opinion, is the higher you set it up, the less coverage that you're getting. And let me explain that to you. So, especially if you're on something like a corn pile, or you're watching over a specific trail, and if it's just like a short little piece, then that's one thing. But if you're watching over like a corn pile or down a fire lane or something like that, you want to try to have as much coverage as possible. And if you have it set up really high, the higher you have it set up, the more you have to lean it down. So when you have it set up high and you're looking out, you're covering a lot of ground. Then when you lower it down like that, you're taking out a lot of that coverage. So what I like to do is I like to put it maybe about 2 feet off the ground. And I know some people were like, well, why in the world would you do that? That's crazy. A deer is only about this high. Even a big buck is only about waist high. And I know, it seems different whenever they're dead on the ground, you look at them, they look big and all that. But believe it or not, when they're standing up, they're only about waist high, maybe an inch or two higher. So if you look at where I'm at right now, a waist high is just above that camera, okay? So every camera has a sensor on it that obviously triggers the camera. Well, they have your Z-axis, which is left or right, and they have your X-axis, which is up and down. So this camera, set at 2 feet high, will reach this ground for 70 feet because it's straight, it's not curved or anything, it's level. And so for 70 feet, I have coverage. And that hits the ground all the way to 70 feet. The X-axis goes from bottom to top. So it covers, if there's a slight little hill or something like that, it'll catch all of those deer and those animals, turkeys, pigs, whatever it is you're after, it'll catch all of those also. Another great thing, and this is more along the lines to the cellular cameras there, and especially if you're using like a corn pile or something like that, is having it down here, you can actually see your corn. So if you can see your corn, some cameras like this camera, I can make it take a picture whenever I want to, or even whenever the deer are there, or a lot of your cellular cameras, they have a daily picture that it takes every single day just to let you know that the camera's working. Well, to have it set this low, I can see all my corn. So I know when I have to come in and put more corn out or not put corn out. So that allows me to put less pressure in my area and on my stand, because as we all know, pressure is key. The least amount of times that you go in there, the less amount of pressure that there is. Also, like this camera, I can have it take a picture. When I'm about to walk into my stand, I can have it take a picture, and it'll tell me, hey, if there's a deer there or not. And so I'll know, oh, wait a minute, don't go in now. Wait until that deer is gone, so you don't run them off, spook no deer. Same thing as if you're just set up on a trail, or a lot of people. I'll even do this. Put a camera on a trail that I walk in on. I'll have it take a picture and make sure there's no deer on that trail, because a lot of times, even the man-made trails that you cut with a weed whacker or something like that through the woods, deer are lazy, they're going to take those trails. So I'll have it take a picture and make sure there's no deer on the trail, so I don't spook them coming in. So the benefits the having it down low is great, because it covers farther out, it covers wider, and you can see things like your corn pile and stuff like that. And like I said, I recommend the solar power. And here's a nice little trick for you here. If you're ever wondering where your camera is pointing, I know a lot of times, what I used to do is I'd set it up and I'd walk out there and I'd get in the direction, okay, it's facing right here. But here's an easier trick, a much better trick. Now, I forgot my cell phone at home on accident, which is stupid. Safety tip: never go into the woods by yourself or anywhere with other people without at least one phone. That's my fault. So we're going to pretend this is my cell phone today, okay? Pretend this is the screen. You turn your camera on. You flip it as if you're going to take a selfie, You set up your camera. You put your cell phone against it. Now you're able to see exactly where that camera is pointing, and you will know exactly how it's lined up. And now some of them, they come with pictures and stuff like that already on them, but they're on the inside, which doesn't help. Some of them, like the new Tacticams now, they come with you can bring up your app and it'll show you on live where it's at. But like I said, take your cell phone, like this is the screen, turn your pictures on, reverse it like you're going to take a selfie, put it in front of your camera, boom, good to go. Now you know exactly where it's at. So when it comes to the setting up, also, I recommend having a big enough tree. And this is about the smallest I'd put it on. Typically, I like to have it on a pine tree or something a little bit bigger, like the one behind there, for safety reasons. As you can see, I use what's called a Python lock, okay? And it'll lock your camera to the tree, because unfortunately, we have some sorry people out there that like to steal stuff that you've earned and that you've paid for. So you can get you this is a Master Lock Python lock, and it goes right through it, and it keeps people honest. I mean, as I know, you can see this tree. If they really want to, they can get it. However, it'll keep people honest. So I recommend about 2 feet high, 2.5 feet at the most, setting it up. Maybe a little bit bigger tree than this. Solar panel. Keep the AA batteries or whatever batteries you use also in it at the same time, and you'll be perfect to go. You'll be able to catch all your deer, all your hogs, all your turkeys, everything at this height, and you won't miss anything. So I hope that helped you out, and I hope you learned something today. And until next time, God bless you. And remember, you always get out of it what you're willing to put in it.